Good morning, students. Today our topic is CSS cascading style sheets. In our previous lecture, we already discussed different types of cascading style sheet we can use in our program. These are internal, external, and inline. Now this time to learn different property value combination used in CSS. So first of all, let us talk about the color. So CSS color. So CSS color can be specified by using a color name. So these are the different color names as shown in the screen. But you can also use color using RGB, hex, HSL, RGBA, and HSL A values. So first of all, let us talk about color name. The simplest method is to use color is to use by using their color name. So these are the different colors. You can name them as it is, as mentioned in our screen. These are the tomatoes, orange. So different colors are there. So the simplest thing is that you can use color name as it is, as their name is. But different methods are also there. These are RGB, hex, HSLA, etc. You can see that these are the colors. So the color name is so if the color is very well known, such as red, green, blue, white, black, so you can use them directly as it is in your program. Now let us talk about the background color. To put the background color in your program, the property name is background dash color, and after that colon sign you can give the name of that color. So that color is a background of your web page. Okay, yeah, now you can see that different background colors are there. And if you want to give the color of a text, then for that purpose there is a property named color. After color, put colon sign, and after that the value is the name of the color. So you can give any name of the color. That color is the color of your text. In this you can easily see that h1p are the text used here, and here we use the style as an attribute. It means here we talk about the inline CSS, inline style of a CSS. And if you want to put border color, then for that purpose the property name is border. After that you can easily see that we give the border width, that is 2 pixel, and after that space, and then the name of the color. So two values are given here, one for width and second for name of the color using border property. So h1 is the name of the heading here. So using style as an attribute, we can give different types of border color here. Now let us talk about CSS RGB color. Basically RGB stands for red, green, and blue. So these are the three basic colors, and using three colors we can give any color. We can use any color. So the value of red, green, blue basically lies between 0 to 255. So first of all we give the value of R, then G, and then blue, as you can see on the screen. So these are the three different combinations. So 255 is the maximum value of red. It means if we give value of G and B 0, that means color is red. And if you give all the values 0, that means color is black. And if you give all the values of RGB as 255, that means color is white. And all other colors are lies between these two colors, which is black and white. So you can form any color using the combination of red, green, and blue color. So the basic concept is any color is formed using these three basic colors, red, green, and blue, and we can give the value of red, green, blue between 0 to 255. If all values are 0, then black. Then if all values of RGBs are 255, then it is white. Now another representation is using hex values. So using hex values, first of all, hex values are represented by hash sign with the 6-bit representations. First 2-bit for first 2 digit used for red, second 2 digit for green, and third and last 2 digits are used for blue. So red, green, blue still is there, but 2 digits are reserved for that purpose. And one more important thing, that when we talk about the digits, then it means we give a value from 0 to 9 and alphabet from A to F, which is as we know that hexadecimal representation. So if you give FF, that means the largest hexadecimal value, that means color is red. So that is another representation. Always remember that hexadecimal representation always starts with the hash sign, and first 2 digits are reserved for red, second 2 digits are for green, and at last 2 digits they basically reserved for blue color. So this is the hexadecimal representation, and always remember that hexadecimal representation start from 0, and the last value of hexadecimal representation is F. So you can give any value between 0 and F. It means 0 to 9, and 6 characters are also there, A, B, C, D, E, F. These are the dates, not the bits. Bit is another thing. So you can give digits as well as some characters, because we know that in hexadecimal representation 10 is represented by the character A, 11 by B, 12 by C, 13 by 4, 13 by D, 15 by E, and 15 by F, 14 by E, and 15 by F. Now another representation is using HSL values. So HSL basically represent hue, saturation, and lightness. So here is the degree on the color wheel from 0 to 360. So here represent basically degree of the color wheel from 0 to 360, in which 0 represent red, 120 is green, and 240 is blue. Next is the value saturation. So saturation is the percentage value. 0% means a shade of gray, and 100% is a full color. And third is lightness. Lightness is also a percentage. 0% means black, and 50% is neither light or dark, and 100% is white. So we can represent a color using HSL also, means hue, saturation, and lightness. So saturation basically describe as the intensity of the color. So we can give the intensity in percentage using HSL representation. 100% is a pure color, means no shade of gray, and 50% means 50% gray, but you can still see the color. Okay, and 0% is completely gray, and you can no longer see the color. So that is the use of saturation. So you give the value of saturation in HSL representation. You can see it here. And the third value is lightness. So the lightness of a color can be described as how much light you want to give the color. Where 0% means no light, means black, 50% means 50% light, neither dark or not light, and 100% means full lightness, means white. So you can also give the lightness in HSL representation. So different types of representations are there when we talk about the color. So you can use any one of them in your program. The simplest is directly using the color name. Next is a RGBA value. So basically RGB stands for red, green, blue, but another property or attribute is there, that is A, and here A is represent alpha. So the full form of RGBA is red, green, blue and alpha. And the alpha parameter is a number between 0 and 1. So we can give the value of alpha between 0.0 and 1.0. 0.0 means full transparent and 1.0 means not transparent at all. So if you want to give the transparency in terms of RGBA, so basically RGBA provides the more color when we compare it directly with RGB combinations. So here another attribute is used, that is alpha, in which we can give the value between 0 and 0.0 and 1.0. When you give the value 0.0, it means it is fully transparent, and 1.0 means not transparent at all. So that is RGBA. RGB stands for red, green and blue color. And why always RGB is there? Because we can form any color using these three basic colors, red, green and blue. Next is HSLA. So HSL, we already studied about HSL, means hue saturation lightness, and A stands for alpha here. So we can use HSLA also. So alpha, as we talk about that 0.0 is fully transparent, and 1.0 means not transparent at all. So we can use A means alpha attribute with HSL also, which we described already in this video. And alpha basically shows the transparency. So 0.0 means fully transparent and 1.0 means not transparent at all. And one thing should be remembered, that value of alpha always lie between 0.0 and 1.0. Next is CSS background. So A basically represent transparency or opacity. Next is CSS background. When we talk about the background, so it means we can give a background as a we can give background to an image or a color. So first of all, let us talk about background color. You can give a background color, any background color in your web page. You can put a image in your background also. By default, there is a image repetition if image is small. So using background repeat, you can repeat an image, then background attachment is also there. And next, background position, you can set the background position of your image also. So let us talk about them one by one. First of all, CSS background color. Now in CSS you are able to put any background color as per your choice using color name, hexadecimal notation, HSL representation, etc. So first of all, let us talk about CSS background color. So for that purpose, there is a property name background dash color. That property name is used, and you can give any value, any color value for this purpose. So here you can easily see that if you want to put the background of the body as a light blue, then we use the following syntax. See on a screen, body background color light blue. Always remember that property and values are always separated by the colon sign, and after property value combination always put a semicolon sign. Now you can give the color name or hex representation or RGB representation. You can easily see here that if you want to put background color as a red, then background dash color colon is equal to red should be there. But if you want to use hex representation, for that purpose you must mention hash ff0000, because first two digits are reserved for color and the maximum value of R should be ff, because the 0 to 9 digits are there and A to F symbols letters are there for representation. So ff should be there to represent red color, and using RGB notation the maximum value of R should be given. So maximum value of R is 255 and green and blue color is 0, so pure red color is there. So we can also use RGB 25500 to represent background as a red background. Next is there is a program here in which three different tags are used: H1P and div. Div is basically used for division. So here we want to put different background color for heading, paragraph and div. So program is always start from HTML, and before this doc type HTML should be there, which represent type of document is HTML. Then head, then within head you can use style. So H1 background color is green, it means the heading color background is green here. And then div represent division, and here background color is given as light blue. Then after paragraph, for paragraph tag background color is yellow here, and then all these properties are mentioned within style element, which is described within head element. After that main program is start from body. So this is an example of internal CSS, in which CSS is a part of HTML program, and we write all CSS coding within style element, which is mentioned within head element of your HTML program. So different background colors are there. Different background colors are there, and now you can different background colors are there, and after that main program start from body. So content of the H1 is CSS background color example. Content of the div is this is a text inside a div element, and content of P is this paragraph has its own background color. And then after that div should be closed, then body, and at last HTML. And we can see the output here. Obviously program output of this program represent different colors. Now this program I think clear to all of you. In this program basically we use internal CSS, in which CSS coding is a part of HTML program using style tag, and then background color property is there to give the different background color of heading, paragraph and division. So you can see that is the output after the execution of that program. CSS background color example, it is a heading, so background color is green here as we mentioned in our program. Then div, division element, you can see that light blue color is there, and a paragraph is there of background yellow, because this is mentioned in our program here. Here div tag is used, and I think if you are not familiar with the div tag, I should told you that div tag is an empty container which defines a division of or a section, and it does not affect the content or layout, and it is used to group HTML elements to be styled with CSS or manipulated with script. So tag is an empty tag. Now if you want to put an image as a background in your background of your HTML page, then CSS background dash image property should be used for that purpose. You can see here there is a small program. The background image property specify an image to use as the background of an element. See the code and the output both simultaneously. You can see what is going on here. Actually there is a background, and in background there is an image of a mountain, and there is also a text or a paragraph, and then heading is there. So to do this, first of all we should use a property value combination in your CSS program, CSS part of the program, and the property name is background dash image. So here you can see that internal CSS there, and in style tag background dash image colon URL stands for uniform resource locator URL, and within the bracket you can give the file name, image file name, and image file name is nature, and the type of the image is JPG, so we just write nature dot JPG here, and then style tag is closed. So here we put a background image in our program. After that, within the body part of this program, this heading says hello world, and a paragraph, is the page has an image as the background. Next is CSS background repeat. By default, the background image property repeats an image both horizontally and vertically. If the size of the image is small, then it is repeated both horizontally and vertically. So if the size of the image is large enough, then it is not repeated at all. So some images should repeat it only horizontally or vertically. So we can use, if we want to repeat an image horizontally or vertically, then for that purpose there is an attribute background repeat, background dash repeat. And if you want to repeat along x-axis, then value should be repeat dash x. If you want to repeat it along y-axis, then value should be repeat dash y. In part second you can easily see that. And If you want to, if you don't want to repeat it, because by default it is repeated along both x-axis and y-axis, then value should be no repeat. You can easily see in the part third of this program that no repeat should be there. So first of all, the property name is background dash repeat, and after colon sign you can give the value. If you want to repeat it along x-axis, then repeat dash x should be there. If you want to repeat it along y-axis, then repeat dash y should be there. You can see part 2. And if you don't want to repeat it, then use no repeat, no dash repeat as a value for property background dash repeat. And always remember that by default it is repeated along both x-axis and y-axis. You can easily see the program here, and this is an example of internal CSS. You can use external as well as inline CSS also. And the main difference between internal and inline is that in internal we use a style as an element, but in inline we use style as an attribute. CSS background positions. You can define the background position of your web page also using property name background dash position, and here you can easily see that right top is there, so you can use right or left, and you can use top, middle, or bottom. So here right top is used, means image should be at the image is at right top position of your web page. Now here in this program, in the part of this program, you can easily see that background, there is a background image, background repeat, and background position. These three properties are used here. Next is CSS background attachment. So the background attach statement so basically the background attachment property specify whether the background image should be scroll or be fixed. It means with no scroll with the rest of the page. Then we use the property name background dash attachment. You can see the program here. Here we use background dash attachment is equal to fixed, means no scroll or scroll at all. And if you want to give a value as scroll, then means you can scroll the image also. So two values are there, only scroll and fixed. Now this is all about our today's lecture. In our next lecture we will discuss some more properties of CSS. Thanks for watching this video.